What is up, you guys? My name is Roman, and my pronouns are he, him, and his. And today I'm going to be reacting to Godzilla 1984, a forgotten gem, uh, the film that refined Godzilla forever, retrospective by D-Man 1954. I will link it below, and let's get started.
There's something special about Godzilla 1984 that sets it apart from every other entry in the franchise. Yesterday, I watched Godzilla 1984 in theaters for the very first time and was reminded that this is one of the Godzilla films I've seen the least. 1984's Godzilla and the American re-edit, Godzilla 1985, were out of print in the United States for my entire childhood, making this the last classic Godzilla film I ever got to see. It wasn't until December 2015 when I received a DVD of the Japanese version of the film and a VHS of the US cut for Christmas that I finally got to dive into the birth of the Heisei series. Since then, Godzilla 1984 has become one of my most appreciated Godzilla films, but remains one of my least watched. After experiencing the movie in theaters at the
Yeah, I agree. It's one of my least watched too.
Alamo Drafthouse yesterday, I finally know why. This is Godzilla at his most nightcore. As the Showa-era Godzilla films progressed, Godzilla gradually became more child-friendly until the series almost completely alienated older viewers. Due to box office decline, Godzilla was put on hiatus for nearly a decade following 1975's Terror of Mechagodzilla. With enough time passed to generate interest in the series again, Godzilla was rebooted with a direct sequel to the 1954 classic that worked hard to restore Godzilla to his roots as a walking nuclear apocalypse with deep political and thematic weight. The result is a brooding and methodical film that is drenched in a somber and melancholic atmosphere. 30 years after Godzilla's infamous attack on Tokyo in 1954 that ended with Dr. Serizawa sacrificing himself to kill Godzilla using the oxygen destroyer, the eruption of an undersea volcano awakens a dormant Godzilla. Reporter Goro Maki discovers the remains of the Yatamaru No. 5 and rescues Hiroshi Okumura, only to learn that Godzilla was to blame for the ship's crew being killed by a radioactive sea louse. There's a heavy sense of weight and fearful hesitation around the reemergence of Godzilla. The film's commentary and commitment to treating this as a real-world scenario takes center stage here, as a media gag order has been placed on Maki, preventing him from warning the world that Godzilla is back. This does not stop Maki from continuing to dig into the situation, leading him to Dr. Hayashida and Naoko Okumura, the sister of Hiroshi. Maki forms an insincere and, at times, tenuous relationship with the others that builds into a genuine connection. The political tensions rise as Godzilla attacks a Soviet submarine, almost inciting a war between the United States and Russia, forcing the Japanese government to reveal the existence of Godzilla. As the alternate US title for the film would suggest, Godzilla returns and attacks a nuclear power plant for sustenance, revealing that this Godzilla is far more animalistic than previous portrayals.
Well, but the US version is called Godzilla 1985. It's the original Japanese cut that's called The Return of Godzilla. But either way, it's the same movie. So, but I think you mean the Japanese title. I don't know. Don't quote me on that. But I'm quoting him on that. So whatever.
A trait that our heroes exploit against him by creating a device that can trick Godzilla's homing instincts into luring him to a target destination. A common complaint against Godzilla films is the boardroom sequences, where people, often government bureaucrats or military representatives, sit around and discuss what to do next if Godzilla appears. This film is comprised largely of these sequences, which, ironically, feature more compelling human drama as the Prime Minister is forced to consider allowing a nuclear strike on Japanese soil against Godzilla should he make landfall, or try and defeat Godzilla without foreign aid, than the core cast of scientists and lovebirds trying to build their sonic weapon. Eventually, Godzilla does reappear in Tokyo, going on
Trying to build. Hold on a second. Did you say... Did you say trying to build your sonic weapon? Like your Sonic? Like your... One of... like one of these? Huh? Huh? Yeah, I'm just showing off at this point, but it's a joke. It's get it because it's like a sonic screwdriver. All right, yeah, you get the point. Anyways, moving on.
On one of his most grand and thorough attacks ever put to film. With 30 years to prepare, the Japanese Defense Force comes equipped with maser tanks and a flying fortress called the Super X that uses cadmium missiles to soak up Godzilla's internal radiation and weaken,
Which, by the way, is a pretty cool vehicle slash weapon. I love the Super X.
him. The Super X manages to temporarily defeat Godzilla only for him to be reawakened and empowered by an atmospheric nuclear explosion that was accidentally triggered by the Russians. Finally, Hayashida's plan is put in motion and Godzilla is lured into the volcanic Mount Mihara on Izu Oshima, where a controlled eruption pulls him back down into the earth from which he came. Godzilla 1984 is at its strongest during its numerous special effects sequences. Godzilla's first assault on the nuclear factory carries immense scale, presenting Godzilla as bigger than he ever was before. This scene was perhaps the most exciting to see on a large theater screen. The second act destruction sequence, which lasts for an extended portion of the movie, is...
Wait, total side note, and I've noticed this before in past watches of it, but and I've even seen somebody point this out on Reddit, but right before the explosion, look what logo is there. It's the Ghostbusters logo. And this came out in 1984, the same year as Ghostbusters. Who are you gonna call? Someone else.
Extended portion of the movie is the true star. Godzilla's attack on the dock is one of the most thrilling moments in the Heisei series and was an absolute joy to watch on the big screen. As Godzilla rampages through...
Who are you gonna call? Godzilla Busters. Okay, I'm sorry.
Tokyo, many shots and moments really stuck out as being highly impressive and entertaining in theaters. Every single time I watch this film, I am truly astounded by the literal size and scale of the Shinjuku miniature set. I believe that this is one of the most impressive miniature cities ever put to film, and I love every second it's on screen. The wonderful...
Sorry if I'm not focusing. I'm looking at the video, but it's a little hard for me to concentrate just because my leg's a little itchy. It's very itchy right now, but I'm watching still, don't worry.
Full restoration of the film, put together by Criterion, made it look even more beautiful than I have ever seen it before, while also occasionally amplifying some of the more dated special effects. But overall, it's this movie's...
Right, like that you just showed.
General vibe, which makes it so special, and which is why I watch it so rarely. On many occasions while watching this film, including in theaters, I find myself struggling to stay awake. I don't mean this as a criticism at all. This film, in many ways, is the coziest and most hypnotic Godzilla film ever made. There is something unexplainably animoic I feel for the 1980s. The 80s are a time I'll never know because I was never alive during them. And yet, the idea I have of the 80s is so comforting and soothing.
Same here.
Reminding me of my childhood. When I think...
Same here. That's how I feel about the 80s too, because of course that was before I was born, but I view it the same way as you do.
About what the world looked like, specifically city life in the 1980s, I think about this shot of Goro and Naoko walking through Shinjuku at night. Shots like these exemplify exactly how this movie makes me feel. This film is slow and deliberate in pace, with a transfixing soundtrack by Reijiro Karoku that is rarely high octane. Most of the music is ambient and atmospheric with some jazzy influences. Occasionally it will speed up to a more poppy sound, but only when the Super X is on screen does the soundtrack really elevate and get action-packed. The sound design follows suit.
Right.
While it was epic and grand in theaters, it's somehow muted and subdued at home. This is complemented through the film's overall aesthetic. The visuals are subtle and calm. The camera work and quality are well done, but never overly fancy
Oh,
or outstanding. The film
what was that glitch? Is that part of the video or is that just my computer thinking? I don't know.
was also colored very gently, with beautiful greens and reds. During Godzilla's attack, the sky is painted crimson with atomic fires that build the apocalyptic energy and can continue to soothe the viewer at the same time. Even Godzilla is at his most lackadaisical here. While being a terrifying force of destruction, he is slow and distracted. He frequently pauses for long periods of time to just look around. The finale is understated, with conventional weaponry failing and a solution that doesn't even require a single shot to be fired being used to return Godzilla to his resting place. I want to stress that although this movie frequently lulls me to sleep, this is not a bad thing at all. When I'm trying to engage in Godzilla 1984, I can't appreciate its political themes, fantastic tension, and exhilarating special effects more. This film is leaps and bounds grander than any Godzilla film that had ever been made up to this point, and winds up feeling, in some ways, more mainstream than any of Toho's other Godzilla films produced in the classic era, which I consider to have formally ended in 2004 with Godzilla Final Wars. There's a real tangibility and magnitude not often achieved in many other classic Godzilla films here, making this movie feel even more like an outlier. This movie's boldness in tackling contemporary political topics as profoundly and unashamedly as it does, as well as the fact that this happens to be one of the few Godzilla solo films, solidifies this as the definitive Godzilla movie for a generation. But when I'm not in the mood to deeply engage in the thematic discourse behind this film, I can still find appreciation in it, due to it intentionally or unintentionally embodying so many elements of the late night flick perfectly, becoming a perfect movie to turn on in the middle of the night when you want to snuggle up and fall asleep with one of your favorite series. With this in mind, I could see Godzilla 1984 being one of the films that I turn on the most in this franchise without feeling the need to commit myself to paying full attention to it. When I'm in the mood for an atmospheric return to Godzilla's darker roots, this movie will always be there for me. But now, I realize how much more appreciation I'm sure I will find with Godzilla 1984 gently soothing me into a world of the past while enjoying how it reinvented Godzilla for the present, all the while allowing me to get a good night's sleep.
That right there was me last night just crashing out.
Thank you guys all so much for watching. I don't know if this is a thing I'll do starting from now on. I probably will be. But whenever I see a Godzilla film in theaters, I think I'm going to try and review it, just to give my thoughts on the theatrical presentation of the film, which in this case I thought was very, very good, and to see if
Me too. I think I'll do that too.
I had any new insights into the movie while watching it in theaters. Hopefully someday I will have seen every Godzilla film in theaters at some point, and hopefully I'll get back to the ones that I've already seen again so that I can review them on the channel. But until then, I want to give a huge thank you to my patrons over on
Alright guys, I'm gonna end it here, but hope you like this video. I'm checking, it looks like it's recording, but I'm hopefully the audio is okay. Uh, but be sure to give this video a thumbs up and maybe and possibly share it with a friend or a family member and make sure, and if you're new, subscribe to my channel and make sure you also go subscribe to D-Man 1954, link in the description, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers, bye-bye.